the case of Gaza and Palestine. Donald Trump came out with a new plan, peace plan, he calls it. But it doesn't seem that he talked with the any party. I'm trying to just be not. I'm not talking about Hamas. I'm not talking about those people. Even those people who are so close to the West, like PLO, they didn't talk to anybody for this plan. And what he's putting out, he says that they're gonna abide by this plan, or we're gonna attack. Surrender, or you're gonna be killed. What's so amazing about the plan that they don't mention, they don't specify when Israel would withdraw from Gaza. What's your understanding of this plan? Is that a some sort of distraction from what's going on because they want to have a reason to go, just a fake reason, a fake motive to go and do whatever they want to do?
It's actually the opposite. It's almost like they're done with playing games of propaganda. We have to put it in the context of Thomas Barak, the Trump envoy to the region here, last week, saying there will be no peace between the Arabs and the Israelis, period, not only in Lebanon or in Palestine, that there will be only one submitting party and one dominating party, and that Israel is the ally of the United States, and basically it will be the dominator, the enslaver, the controller of the Arabs. And this quote unquote peace proposal is another example of outright telling the Arabic people that this is what it is. And this boldness that some people may see as boldness by the West is actually another example of how they've lost the game. They have lost all the military battles in Gaza, in Lebanon, in Iran, in Yemen over the last 2 years, and they've lost all the propaganda battles. So military warfare and propaganda warfare are lost causes for the West. The empire, the Zionist empire, ruled from DC. So the only thing that they have left right now is playing psychological warfare. And part of that psychological warfare is constantly speaking down and aggressively and racist-wise and supremacist-wise to the Palestinians and the Arabic and Muslim peoples who are resisting, in hopes that just the sheer of audacity of, on the one hand, the mass killing of innocents in a genocidal manner that is broadcasted on all the media, and or the this sheer arrogance in statements like this supposed peace proposal would lead the resistance to demoralization. And somehow the West will be able to win through psychological warfare what it couldn't win through either military or propaganda warfare.
The other point, Laith, when it comes to the peace plan, is that they don't, in my opinion, they don't know. Donald Trump doesn't know what he wants to do with Netanyahu. Since he was elected, Netanyahu, 5 times Netanyahu went to the United States talking with Donald Trump. And every time it seems to me he's pushing for more. In my opinion, he wants to, I'm repeating my opinion because I want to put it out, because they don't talk about it. But you see that they want to capture the northern part of Gaza. You see what's going on in the West Bank. Donald Trump said he doesn't agree with Netanyahu. He doesn't let Netanyahu to capture the West Bank, to annex the West Bank. But in reality, it's totally is the opposite. What's going on?
Yeah. I mean, like, look, this is part of this psychological warfare is this up and down, up and down, up and down. Because every time the masses clearly see reality and understand that the Arabic regimes, and Muslim regimes that have been vassals since the end of World War II are still vassals, and or that the whole collective West elite are behind this genocide. We see these psychological warfare operations where, all these Western countries are acknowledging Palestine as a state. And that is apparently a fight between these capitals and their master in Washington, D.C. This is how it was set up, the propaganda over the last week or so, with those acknowledgements of Palestine as a state, when in reality it's all part of the same team. They're all playing different roles. Confused, then shock, then confused, then shock. Okay? So this is the shock after the confusion. Just before those acknowledgements of Palestine as a state, everybody in the world was clear that the only ones that are supporting the Palestinian liberation are the axis of resistance. Everybody else is collaborating. And suddenly we have that admittance of Palestine as a state, confuses people, thinks that there's some change. The attempted assassination of Hamas leadership in Qatar, that's another psychological warfare operation, where it was made to make Qatar look like it's gonna break away from America, or Saudi signing with Pakistan, or Indonesia claiming that it's going to send 20,000 troops to defend the Palestinians. And then suddenly we get the shock of all of these states signing on to Trump's decree. Okay, so confusion, shock, confusion, shock. So the audience, the people, the masses around the world need to stop being taken for a roller coaster ride willingly. You all have a historical record in front of you that you can read as audiences of the non-stop collaboration and submission of the capitals of Europe to the United States, or the capitals of Arabic and Muslim states to the United States, and actually the control of the Zionist of Washington, D.C. Trump is a senile, person. He's already dumb before he was senile. I mean, people are just gonna go watch his interviews, grab them by the pee, and before that, all the way to Home Alone 2, the movie, or The Rascals, the movie. This is a dumb person who's now senile. Of course, he's not the one that's making the decisions in Washington, D.C. And of course, he needs Netanyahu to visit him every couple of weeks to remind him where the plan has to go.
The plan is to release, the main goal on the part of the Trump administration, to release the hostages, the prisoners in Palestine. The whole plan is all about it. Because since he took power, he's just simply talking about hostages and they have to release them, bragging about those people who have been released so far. And there is no guarantee in this peace plan that if they release the hostages, the prisoners, they're not going to get back and they're not going to attack Gazans. So when these countries, I saw even India coming out and welcoming the peace plan, but they don't know what is the main goal of the peace plan. In your opinion, the main goal, how do you find the main goal? It's not about withdrawing from Gaza. It's not about withdrawing from the West Bank. It's not about two-state solution. Is it all about the hostages, or do you see something else?
It's a demand of the Palestinian peoples to surrender. Okay? The hostages, they don't give a damn about them, quote unquote hostages. The prisoners of war that the Palestinians are holding, the Zionists themselves don't care about them. They're disposable, expendable. And otherwise, they would have agreed to a ceasefire since October 9th, 2023, when Hamas told the Zionists they're willing to exchange all their prisoners of war captured with the Palestinian prisoners of war that are languishing in Israeli prisons. And they have refused every day since. And by the way, the Palestinian prisoners that were released in the various exchange deals over the last 2 years, vast majority of them were sent to Gaza. Okay, so there's maybe around 600 somewhat, whatever it is, Palestinians that were released to the West Bank, but a huge number of them have been released into Gaza, and most of them have died since under the genocide. So even this, the exchange deals led to more killing of Palestinian prisoners than their freedom. Okay, and there's tens of thousands of Palestinian prisoners right now. These are the ones that we can verify because there is tens of thousands that are kidnapped from Gaza that nobody knows about, that they're kidnapped, okay, that are languishing in these Guantanamo-like prisons in the desert of South Palestine. So, no, there's no, Trump doesn't care, or Netanyahu doesn't care about the Israeli prisoners of war.
Two concepts on two-state solution. One says that if we go with the plan of two-state solution, we can push Israel back and then somehow negotiate with Israel or make some sort of deal with Israel. The other says that the two-state solution is some sort of plan, a cover plan for what's going on beneath the surface, what's going on with the annexation. Looking at the West Bank, you see some pinpoints on the map. There is no West Bank in the hand of Palestinians. So it's all about the occupation. They want to buy time to occupy more and more. Which one do you accept more?
Definitely the quote-unquote two-state solution. Remember when it came, okay, when it started, this talk. It started at the end of the collapse of the Soviet Union and the destruction of Iraq as the richest, at that point, it was the richest, most industrialized Arabic country and had a lot of excess money that it was given to the Palestinian resistance. Not because I like Saddam or something, okay? But I'm just explaining to you when this Oslo path and the two-state solution began. When the Palestinians, when the whole world was in a depressive mood, where there was extreme unipolarity, where the whole Eastern Bloc has evaporated and the Palestinians were left alone, okay, and they were forced into this two-state solution, and they thought that it's their only way out. Now, of course, what had happened between the Oslo Agreement and the Second Intifada and what happened after, all of that proved to us that the peace process only accelerated, quote-unquote peace process on the two-state solution, only accelerated the colonization of the West Bank and Jerusalem, the mass expulsions and the killings of Palestinians. That's the only thing that it led to. And it gave a the mistake of accepting the Oslo path gave a political window for countries like Jordan to legitimize its collaboration with the Zionists. If the Palestinians are talking to the Zionists, well, Jordan will have a peace agreement then. And the most important border with occupied Palestine, the longest border with occupied Palestine, exited the struggle. And of course, before that, the front with Egypt and Sadat signing the Camp David. So the two-state solution is a two-state illusion, and the Palestinians in Gaza and the West Bank have known that now for a long time, and this is why, as rest in peace, Assata Shakur would say, There's no people in the in human history that have ever achieved liberation through appealing to the humanity of their oppressor. Okay, so there is no way to have the Zionists give Palestinians anything. Palestinians have to take it, and this is why we're where we at.